Hi, my name is Scott Anderson. I'm going to be presenting on the article I chose for the staff was college and career readiness. What do we mean? A proposed framework from the ConnectEd California Center for College and Career Readiness. I'm presenting this article to our staff. It was a 52-page article that had an unbelievable amount of information that I'm trying to condense here to help out with our definition of what is college and career ready. A little quote here from President Obama. We will set a clear goal. Every student should graduate from high school ready for college and career readiness or career regardless of their income, race, ethnic, or language background or disability status. So once again, what is college and career readiness? Throughout this article, the group tries to frame a definition that's pulled from probably about 50 plus different resources on what exactly is college and career readiness. The ConnectEd article brings up a framework that was developed that focuses on four main categories: knowledge, skills, productive dispositions and behavior, educational career, and civic engagement. All of these categories, as you'll see, are interrelated in education and in life. Throughout the presentation, you'll see that there's numerous best practices, catchphrases, buzzwords that are kind of interrelated throughout all the themes and thoughts that were in the article. Once again, they're trying to develop a operational definition for college and career readiness. And basically what they're trying to do is set students up for long-term success in life, in college, and further on into their career. So best practices for college and career readiness, they should equip students with knowledge and skills necessary for jobs. Good citizens, neighbors, prepare them for the future, what's coming, and set students up for successful transition throughout whatever role they have in adulthood. Over here, you can see there's a lot of buzzwords. I put them into a Wordle: content, career, engage, civic literacy, 21st century communication, transferable skills, critical thinking, collaboration. We've all, as educators, heard these terms used over and over again. So first off in the framework was knowledge. The article hits on this as one of the areas, the four areas that teachers and students should address as far as best practices. There are core subject areas. 21st century knowledge in these domains is needed for global, civic, environmental, financial, health, and media literacy. They also need to be career related and technical knowledge about a broad industry sector and technical content. So once again, this is information that is pulled together from 52 pages, so please bear with me here. There's three domains that are essential for skills development, success in post-secondary education, careers, and effective participation in a global society. Once again, critical thinking is one of the top things that people are looking for, college and career. The core subjects that prepare a student for college and career readiness is English, language arts, math, science, government, civics, economics, history, geography, humanities, arts, and foreign languages. Critical to participation in the local and global society are themes that go across subject areas and careers. Global, civic, environmental, financial, health, and media. Just being a well-rounded person in all of these is pretty much necessary in today's field, and it's our job as educators to teach our students how to successfully navigate that. Knowledge about industry sector, associated careers, technical, college, providing context for learning core subjects, informed decisions about post-secondary education. Knowledge in all of these areas is going to be necessary for a student to be successful. Obviously, this isn't going to all happen at once, but throughout their 4 years with us at the high school, it's our job to prepare them for this knowledge and set them up for success. So the next part of the framework was skills that'll be necessary to be college and career ready. Academic skills and those core disciplines we talked about for knowledge base. 21st century skills, metacognition, and knowing how to learn. That's a big one for me that I see pretty much on a daily basis, is understanding how to apply strategies and how to learn. I think students have a difficult time. They want you to kind of show them, do it for them, show them where the answer is, but teaching them how to find that's really important. Other 21st century skills, creativity, innovation, that's a big one that employers are looking for. Critical thinking and problem solving, systems thinking. If you're not familiar with systems thinking, it's understanding complex interrelationships and being able to analyze how the parts interact with the whole. Communication, listening, speaking, writing, collaboration, that's a big one. Information management and digital, obviously, technical digital skills are going to be, who knows where they're going to be in 10 years, you know. These 21st century skills are best learned through academics, thematics, and career technical disciplines. Skills identified as essential in the knowledge economy characterized work in the 21st century. I abbreviated these here, being able to understand, apply, adapt, self-aware. Once again, this is all these buzzwords that we've all heard and hopefully are including in our vocabulary, in our teaching, and in our classroom. Critically reflect, communicate, elaborate, analyze. Okay, I'm not going to read all those for you. I kind of hate it when people do that when there's a PowerPoint. There are career cluster areas that are associated. You need technical knowledge to pursue these clusters. I didn't list all of the clusters, but a lot of career clusters kind of intertwine throughout each other. So you could be in agriculture or natural resources. There's so many other ones, also technical, medical, teaching, education. There's a lot of different clusters where these skills are going to be needed across the board for any of those, along with these 21st century skills over here on the left, and these abbreviated essentials for knowledge are going to be needed, these ones right here. Best practices, productive dispositions, and behaviors. This is the third of the 4 in the framework of best practices. Self-concept, self-knowledge, self-esteem, just being familiar with what works for themselves and how to figure that out is very important for a student moving forward into college and into the real world. Study skills, persistence, initiative, resourcefulness, completing tasks. I couldn't tell you how many times I have students turn in like 3/4 of the work and then wonder why they didn't get an A on the paper, and well, because you did 3/4 of the work. So being able to like follow a rubric and meet all things that it's asking for. It's going to be directly transferable to college and obviously a job. If you do 3/4 of your job, you probably get fired. Effective organizational, social skills, leadership, being flexible, when something kind of pops up out of the blue, being able to adapt and overcome with whatever that situation is. Principals are usually pretty great at that. So some of the behaviors that are associated with these best practices over here are attitude, non-cognitive skills, just personal qualities, intrapersonal skills, social-emotional, not having blow-ups, being able to listen and get along with your colleagues is very important. Thinking before you speak sometimes is something that a lot of people don't do, but is very important. Knowing what your strength is, knowing what your weaknesses are, and your abilities going to be very important for us to show a student. Skills enabling individuals to work effectively, flexible, adaptable, responsible. I think I skipped this one here. Setting goals, establishing priorities, managing time. All of these are productive dispositions are going to be best practices that are necessary for us to portray to a student and teach them so that they can take those to the next level, whether it's post-secondary or into a career. Lastly, educational, career, and civic engagement. Navigating the world of higher education. Being able to navigate a job, going to work, engaging in navigating civic life. What is a student's or a person's civic duty as a good community member, part of their environment that they live in, for post-secondary education, what's the admission process, financial aid protocols, just being able to mesh into a certain culture, knowing what works better for you. For like myself, I knew that I wouldn't do well in a big school, so I chose a small school. Being familiar with how to apply, when to apply for school. Before you apply for a school and select a major, having explored career paths and different ideas for employment is very important, like work keys, assessments, and things of that nature. Responding to social, environmental, economic changes, just being engaged in your community and your civic responsibility. In the article, it said that since 1960s, the number of just students that are involved in government, in just civic life has decreased drastically. That was a study that was done by UCLA. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information. Now we're kind of moving into the application of these best practices. I work at a school that actually is a career readiness academy, and the model is for career and college ready. So application is a must, and you have to have teacher buy-in. You have to have it from the top down. You have to have a model. You have to have curriculum design and implementation. There's so many things that go into making a successful program. How the information obtained from this article will be used by a school system. So how do we take all those best practices we talk about or just talked about and put them into the works? How do we utilize that in our school? This is a little quote from the article. Every existing framework highlights the importance of academic knowledge and skills as foundational for future success. So as a district, we need to organize our thinking into the 4 categories, which were the skills, knowledge, productive behaviors, and the educational, career, civic. That's part of the definition that we keep referring back to. So academics, 21st century, career and technical are all needed across the board. So it shouldn't be just a focal point of one of those things. They're needed across the board. Being able to distinguish between the knowledge, skills, behaviors, career, civic, educational engagement, options for developing interdisciplinary curriculum and instructional approaches. So as a teacher, it's our job to design our lessons based on the standard course of study to encompass all of these things that we're talking about here, to better prepare a student to move on and to post-secondary and into a career. It's our job to incorporate these themes and those buzzwords in the vocabulary and make it real world, real life situation, utilizing technology. And that takes work. That takes a lot of scaffolding as a school, and having a game plan. You could use the ADDIE, you can use the task. Definitely mission, vision, belief. Those are all important things to address as a school first before you ever even get started with this other stuff. I mean, you can incorporate some of these things into your daily lessons, but as far as programming is concerned, it really needs to be a holistic approach as a school. Everybody needs to be on the same page when implementing these best practices. Knowledge and skills are highlighted, even though they are often embedded in CTE programming. That's going to be a must. You need to have CTE programs going on for this college and career readiness with cross-disciplinary knowledge. We have collaborative team meetings to plan, and we find out it's monthly and how we're going to intertwine certain disciplines from across multiple subjects. Does it always work for every subject? No, but we try to do our best to make sure the themes align and always relate what the students are learning to application in the real world. Productive dispositions, behaviors must be learned through experience. At my school, the courses are front loaded so that they have time for that job shadowing and career exploration later on in their high school, in their junior and senior years. Career and civic engagement is included as a separate category. The needs and strategies manage their own education and career development. So we have a career development coordinator who comes into an advisory period and does different career exploration websites, assessments with the students, setting up, showing them what FAFSA is, showing them how to apply to schools. She meets with them individually. Mind you, we have a small school, 60 kids. So, there's a lot that goes into making this work. So over here on the right, these are all the things that are going to need to be put in place for the program to work. You're going to have a curriculum design and instruction person or team that's going to lead how you're going to meet your standards. Your school vision, mission, belief should all be aligned with where you want to see your students go as far as college and career readiness. You should have major goals and objectives aligned with college and career ready themes. Your school improvement planning tool, whatever you're using, should align with 21st century skills. It should align with the standards, state standards, and how you're going to meet those with all those themes and best practices we talked about earlier. You're going to have professional development to build and develop those best practices and intertwine them into your lesson planning. Your objectives are going to have to be aligned with that. Standardized planning techniques, working together, collaborative planning time. That is a must. You're going to have a standard of how are we going to meet these requirements through our daily lessons. Like we use Planbook, and in Planbook you can go to your standards, and then you can also align your standards with 21st century skills that are in there also that you can put into your lesson. So that's a nice feature that we just started utilizing this year. Another thing is your assessments and framework, whether it's a classroom assessment or it's a school assessment, the framework. We utilize NAF. Our NAF assessment for the school directly aligns with our planning tool, NC STAR. So teachers are put in charge of leading objectives for NC STAR and NAF, and we present at our team meetings as to how we're doing this, and we collect lists, and then we try to standardize that across the school. So once again, this is huge. This is a lot of work. We actually come in the summertime for 2 full planning days before school ever starts, paid days. Our principal makes sure we get paid, so that's nice for if you were to be implementing this at your school or district. That's an idea that was very helpful this year. We didn't do it last year. This year we came in definitely a step ahead with all of our planning for the year. Some drawbacks, areas of concern. If you do not have district level support, that's a problem. If you don't have funding, if the design process is flawed, like if you're not utilizing a proven tool to help with the design, if you don't have central office people there kind of guiding the way, or somebody that's been there before, getting the teachers to buy in, that's a big one. A lot of times teachers are reluctant to change. So it's getting them to buy into the process and standardizing those best practices and themes throughout the lessons that they're teaching. Your curriculum design is not scaffolded appropriately. That could be like if you're not utilizing the best practices that were discussed in the daily lessons, or you're not relating your teaching to real world situations. Okay, lack of technology, that's going to be big. If you don't have the technology to support all this, then it's kind of a moot point, because the students aren't going to have those skills for college and for their career. Not addressing the college and career component. And for us, the biggest one is right here. The family and community support structure is not in place. We have the hardest time getting our families and community, or the community. We have community people that come out and help, but it's the families that we have the toughest time getting to the school and getting to buy into what we're trying, or enforce at home what we're trying to teach at school. The career development coordinator is huge, and having that time during an advisory period for her to come in and work with the kids, that's big. And then not addressing those best practices in professional development and your planning is just going to set you up for failure. And so that's a big one that needs to be addressed. And we actually have an instructional coach at our school that leads our professional development and does a really good job of making sure that we are and giving us the tools to make that part successful. Some additional resources here. This is just, about 10 or so out of 50 plus that were in this article. I found that this partnership for 21st century skills, that was a really good one. The Industar and NAF is something that I work with a lot, and the Common Core standards. It's good to just look at those sometimes and just take a standard and see how you can make it real world, see how you could analyze, get them to think critically about it, implement those 21st century skills. I didn't really get to look through all of these. They were all referenced throughout the article, but I do know that this one, the P21 was really great. I've actually worked with that one before. So I know that that was a lot of information. This is the reference page here. And that's a pretty substantial amount of information there also. There are some links in here that you could click on if you wanted to check out like the P21 or the article here is linked up through the Blackboard. But as far as implementing this at a district or at a school, I think most importantly it would be picking a framework and going from that point and systematically addressing all the needs, skills, making lists. In the back of this article, these were all listed out. So this article would be a really good reference for you moving forward, talking to people that have been there before, done that. How did you start this up? Working with a NAF Academy. As a NAF Academy, there's an already scaffolded framework already there, and we have a design team that works with our central office folks for implementation of the curriculum for NAF. So there's a lot to putting this in. It shouldn't be taken on unless you have the support necessary to make it successful and the buy-in. It sounds like it could be scary. I work at a school that currently has a college career ready focus, and I think we're doing some really good things at Mosley. And I look forward to sharing this information with my own staff. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for your time.